So here's your video of your bespoke facial treatment. I've taken into account your skin type and the information you've given me from your consultation and designed you a full facial treatment which is going to help to kind of combat your concerns and work on the areas that you want to improve. So all of your products are going to be delivered or collected in these little pots. So I've put enough in these pots for 2 facial treatments. So you can watch this video back twice, or if you remember, you can just crack on and have a little go yourself the second time around. So yeah, these pots, they're going to be numbered, and I'll also write a list of the products so you know exactly what's in each pot, because some of the products will look quite similar. Okay, so the items you're going to need for this treatment are headband. So I got my bandana in ready, I'm all set. You'll need a couple of cotton pads as well, some sponges, or if you haven't got any sponges like this, you can use a flannel or a face cloth, that's absolutely fine. And then lastly, just a little bowl of water. So I've got a bowl here with some nice warm water in it. Okay. Additionally, you might want some tissue, so you might do a little bit of blotting. And I've also got my little handheld towel as well, just in case of spillages, just in case. So we're going to start off then like you would with any facial, which is by cleansing the skin. So let me just get my hair out of the way. So even if you don't wear makeup, it's really important to cleanse your skin, because the impurities from the day, any pollution, if you've been out in the garden, it's amazing what actually sits on your skin and absorbs deep into your pores. So it's very important to remove those. Now the best method of removing any impurities is going to be either a facial wash or a cleanser. Face wipes, they do exactly what they say on the packet. They just superficially wipe over. They don't actually kind of delve down into the pore to remove everything that's in there. They just wipe the surface. So if you want a really good cleanse, you need to go for a nice facial wash or a facial cleanser, which is what I'm going to use today. So with your cleansing lotion, what I'll do is I'll give you a little spatula so you can decant using that. Try not to use your hands and your fingers to go into your pots. Even if you've washed your hands, there can still be bacteria underneath your nails, so you don't want to put that into your pot because it's then going to breed. So with your little amount of cleanser there, you're going to warm it up in your hands. So it's always a good idea to warm the product up, 1 because it feels more comfortable on the skin, but 2 because it also activates the ingredients and it gets them working. Okay, so I always touch temples first of all, just to acclimatise yourself to the temperature of the product, and then dab out across the face and also down onto the neck. Whenever you're doing any treatments, whenever you're putting any moisturisers, serums, anything on, don't forget your neck, okay? Quite often the neck is forgotten. Your neck is going to be the section of your face which will age the quickest, because it's under the most pressure and the most stress. So make sure that you don't forget that. Even if you've got a little bit of moisturiser left over, always run it up the neck to finish off. So with your cleanser that's applied now, we're going to use kind of a mixture of small and medium circles, and I'm using a medium pressure, so you can see that my skin is actually moving here. If I was just kind of smoothing over, it's not really going to be doing much good. So you need to kind of give your skin a nice massage, really working around, and don't rush this. There's no rush. This could be a nice relax for you as well. Right here. Okay, so working into the eyebrows as well. If you wear any eye product, mine won't come off because they're tattooed. Right back into the hairline, especially if you wear a foundation, make sure that you remove all of that. Back to the earlobe as well. And smoothing up the neck, always up. You never want to drag your neck down. If you had like a little vest on, you could even go down onto your décolleté, your chest area as well, which is quite nice. So now I'm going to go into bigger circles now. So not only is this cleansing my skin, but it's also waking up the blood circulation. It's waking up the lymphatic drainage. So any excess fluid that we've got around, if we've got any puffiness in our eyes, This is kind of waking up the lymphatic system, which drains that fluid, and just giving a little nudge and saying, right, come on, let's get this drained. Let's get on top of the job. Okay, if you had any eye makeup on, you could pop some cleanser on a pad, put the pad underneath, use another pad with some cleanser on, damp, and just kind of stroke down the length of the lashes and out over the eyelid, okay? Don't be doing circles and scrubbing around the eye, okay? Because your eye makeup is it's usually heavier, it's more wax based, it's more oil based, so you don't want to be rubbing that into the rest of your face. So leave this section separate from the rest of your facial cleanse. So once you feel like you've had a really good kind of smooth around, and you can also feel the difference in texture in your cleanser, it will start to feel a little bit more kind of oily and slippery, and that means that it's started to do its job, it's activating, it's travelling down into those pores. Fab. Okay, I'm going to wipe the excess now into my little towel. I knew I'd need it. And then I'm going to go in with the toner. So I've put your toner into a little spray bottle like this. There should be plenty in there. So you've got the option here. You can actually close your eyes and do a couple of sprays across your face and let the mist of the toner land onto your face, which is quite a nice refreshing feeling. Or you can spray your toner onto the pad and do as I'm going to do now. So I always damp my cotton pads off first of all. You should never really put a dry cotton pad on the face. And the reason is because the teeny tiny little cotton fibres can actually sit inside the pores. They can cause blockages, and some cotton, if it's a bit more coarse, it can actually scratch the skin surface. So nice damp cotton pads, squeeze them out firmly so there's not going to be any drips going everywhere, and then spray your toner onto this. So I'd probably say about 3 sprays per pad. And again, I always start at the temples, just so my skin knows what temperatures come in. And then working up the face. A little bit difficult working up your neck, but just don't be tempted to work down. Remember, we've always got to lift it up. So up the neck, and then I tend to go across the face, so kind of up and out. So you can take this quite close to the eye contour, but you don't want to get toner in the eye. Make sure you get right in the crease of the nose, corner of the lip, and then up and around the eye, because we don't want to actually go into the eye itself. So up over the brows, right up to the hairline. Once you get to the top, you're going to flip your pads over. Ooh, you can see how dirty you are. And start again with the other side of the pad. So toner can be used to remove the previous product. It can also be used to kind of prep the skin for the next stage in the treatment. But you also get different toners which will help to combat and balance different skin types. So a tea tree toner is going to be more astringent, and it's going to help to remove any surface oil. Whereas a rose toner is going to be a little bit more gentle and help with hydrating the skin rather than stripping the oil away. Let's pop those in the bin now. Right, so the next stage we're going to do now is I've actually put into your pack the Instant Painless Peel. This stuff is amazing. Unfortunately, it's only professional use, but nice that you get a little go of it at home. So what this does is it's got enzymes in it. Think of enzymes a little bit like, do you know the Pac-Man game where you've got the Pac-Man going along and he's munching away at all the little balls? So that's how your enzymes work. They see all the little dead skin cells and they basically eat them. They absorb them and they break them down. So this is fantastic for decongesting, for removing dead skin cells, for unclogging pores, and just generally resurfacing the skin. It's amazing. Love it. So before you start with that, just make sure that your skin is just kind of a little bit tacky. You don't want it to be soaking wet at this stage, okay? Now there's a very specific way in which you put the painless peel on. So you just need a very, very small amount, and what I do is I tend to put it in my fingertips rather than in my palm. So like I said, I give you enough for 2. I'd probably give enough for 3 in there, so you can see my amount there. And I'm not really going to warm this up because that will activate it. I want it to be activated on my face. So I'm just going to kind of separate so that I can dab out across my face. Now very, very gently and lightly smooth this product out onto the neck as well. But very gently, this is very superficial at this stage. Okay, we're just going to leave that for a couple of seconds. And what we're going to do is, at the moment the enzymes are starting to work. They're locating all of the dead skin cells. They got their eye on them and they're ready to kind of absorb them, attack them, eat them and absorb them so that they're completely removed. So what we're going to do, we're going to go in with small friction movements, and you're actually going to feel little kind of beads. Those beads are both the painless peel but also all of your dead skin cells, cellular debris, makeup in the pores, pollution, toxins. They're all being lifted from the skin. So if we want to start again at temples, and then just small circles, and you're just going to keep rubbing a little bit firmer than you did with the application. And you can see all these little bits starting to gather. Now the more bits you have means the more dry skin that you had which needed to be removed. So you can see it all peeling off, almost looks like little bits of tissue. But keep going with it. Again, we're not going to get this into the eye contour, so just avoid that kind of orbital area there. The longer you work with this, the more dead skin you're removing, and your skin will feel beautiful after this, so smooth. You do get little bits drop off onto your lap though, so I've got my towel over mine. And my forehead. I love it, so satisfying. So you can see my skin's got a little bit pink there. It doesn't hurt at all. It's just where I've been rubbing quite firmly. If you had any particular dry areas, you could really kind of spot focus on that area. I've got a lovely big spot there that's been hanging around. So any really, really dry areas that you've got, I get quite dry around the nose area. My chin gets quite dry underneath. Amazing, feel better already. So again, wipe your hands off into your hand towel. And then we're gonna go in with our facial sponges. So make sure that they're submerged underneath the water. If you haven't got a facial sponge, just use a face cloth, flannel, anything like that would be fine. Nice warm water. It can be cold, but warm water is just a bit more comfortable. So squeeze that out so you don't want any drips. And at temples, and the same process that you did with your toner. So always lifting the skin up, and we're just removing all of that enzyme peel, which should be little bits. So this is like the messiest stage of the facial, really. And you should see your skin glows straight after, because it's just taken all that rubbish away. And what that then enables, when all this dead skin has been taken away, it enables the next products that you use to penetrate deeper. So quite a lot of my clients don't tend to use an exfoliator, and I always tell them how important it is. Even if you just use it once a week, what that does is it clears away any blockages so that the dead skin cells are sitting there as a barrier. So when you then put your moisturiser on, all you're moisturising is dead skin cells. So you need to sweep that all away, get it all gone, then put your moisturiser on, which can then penetrate deeper into the skin. And then you're gonna kind of reap the benefits then, rather than wasting all your hard-earned money and your lovely products on dead skin. Don't want to be doing that. So I like to do another little tone at this stage. There's no real rule with how many times you can tone. You can tone as much as you like. I just like to tone in between each, just because it feels nice and fresh. So again, I've submerged my cotton pads and I've squeezed them into my palm to make sure there's no excess water going to drip all over me. A couple of sprays on each pad, and exactly the same process, so up the neck. Once you get to the top, flip them over. There shouldn't be anything on these pads now, especially after the enzyme peel. Hello, so you've just done your cleanse, your tone and your pre-peel. So now you're ready to do your lovely glow glycolic peel. You're gonna love it. I love it. It's fantastic for exfoliating through the dermal layers and just really, really giving that nice glow, youthful finish. Lovely, really nice product. So you've got your two little pots and I've labelled them. One will be labelled glow peel and the other one will be labelled peel blender. Okay, so this is just to kind of give you a bit more consistency, a bit of thickness so that you can apply it on. This is very, very runny. So obviously to make it go a bit further on the face, we add a little bit of blender in there. So you're going to mix both of these into the same pot. Probably best to put the peel in with the blender because the blender's thicker to get out. Then I would put, or I will put one of these little spatulas in for you so you can give it a really nice mix around. When I'm doing treatments, I tend to mix it in a dampen dish just because you're only actually working with a teeny tiny little amount. So by putting it in a big bowl, you're losing quite a lot of the product on the kind of surface of the bowl. So I keep it to a nice little pot. Mix it together really, really thoroughly. So just keep mixing. So it all looks like kind of one fluid rather than seeing the two fluids differently. The peel blender is quite a thick gel, so you do need to work it around to mix it in thoroughly. Then what I tend to use to apply is, believe it or not, it's a nail art fan brush for taking the glitter away. Obviously I haven't used it for nail art, but it's fantastic for applying the peels just because it's so thin. I was using a normal mask brush, but I was finding as soon as I dipped it in, it was just absorbing all of the peel up, and obviously we want to put as much as possible on the face. So once that's thoroughly mixed, you're just going to dip your brush in, and what I tend to do is draw around the eyes first of all, as I do with any face mask. Draw around them because you can't go in close onto the delicate areas of the eye, okay? You cannot apply the peel there. You also need to be quite careful around the edges of your mouth if they're sore anyway, and also in your nostrils as well. If there's any dryness and cracked skin, avoid that because it will really, really sting. So once you've kind of mapped up your eye area, you can then just really quickly, just literally paint it on, paint it on, paint it on. Whatever's left, you can go up the neck as well. And just make sure the whole area of the face is completely covered. If you've covered the whole of the face and there's some left, just apply whatever's left to your areas of concern. So if you've got any particularly kind of thick areas or dull looking areas, dry areas, put a little bit of an extra spot application in that area. So you should start to feel a little bit of a warming sensation and then a little bit of kind of tingling, and some people say that they can actually feel, or they imagine that they can feel the product absorbing down into the skin, almost like little, I'm going to say pins, but it's not as painful as pins, but you can kind of just feel it coming down in little kind of zaps then. I personally don't find this peel uncomfortable at all. I'm always upset when the 7 minutes is up. I'm always thinking, oh, I want to leave it on a bit longer. But it does state that 7 minutes is the maximum that you can leave it on your skin. So what you're going to do when that's been on for 7 minutes, take your toner. So I've put the Hyaluronic Clinic Hair Toner in for you. I don't know if you can see that because my light. So it's a professional product. It's the one that I've popped in for you anyway. Saturate your cotton pads with water. and then put a generous kind of 3 or 4 sprays of this on and really tone over the face, and do it 3 times. So it's really important you've done it 3 times to remove the peel, but also to deactivate the peel. So the hyaluronic acid in the toner actually deactivates. Oh, I've got a message come up. So that'll deactivate. If you still feel tingly, just keep toning until it feels comfortable again. And then your next step, which I will edit in, will be to apply your hydrogel vitamin C mask, which is beautiful, which will really soothe the area if you did find it a little bit tingly. Hope you enjoy. See you soon. Bye. Okay, so next up comes the relaxation part. So if you're having a professional facial now, you would have a lovely 20-minute massage. But obviously it's a little bit difficult to massage yourself. So I'm going to show you a couple of massage movements to do with your moisturiser at the end. But what we're going to do now is put a lovely, super hydrating, reviving 2-in-1 vitamin C gel mask. Again, this stuff is fantastic. It literally absorbs straight into your skin, so you'll be able to tell how thirsty your skin is at the moment. My skin does usually absorb most of this when I put it on. But yeah, it's lovely stuff. It's also got hyaluronic acid in it, so again, it's very good at smoothing the surface of the skin, plumping out any fine lines and wrinkles, and it also smells nice. It's got a nice kind of zesty orange smell, which I love. So I'm going to pop this onto the back of my hand. Now you don't need lots, okay? That is probably a little bit too much, but I can take it down off my neck, so that's okay. Now with masks and things, some people think, oh, slap it on, layer it on. You know, the more I put on, the better results I'm gonna see. But that's not necessarily true. That off there. It's not necessarily true. Your skin has only got limited powers of absorbency. So it only needs to have a nice kind of thin layer over the surface, and it will then absorb in what it can. So just because you've got a thick layer on your skin doesn't necessarily mean that all the goodness from that mask is going to be taken in and used, okay? Now usually I would use a mask brush. In fact, I might go and get a little mask brush now. So what you can use at home is a little foundation brush or a makeup brush that you don't tend to use, a nice flat one, not a fluffy one. And just dip into your mask. And what I tend to do first of all is I draw around my eyes with them, or paint around my eyes. You can go over your eyebrows with this, but you don't want to go into the actual orbital eye area. So paint a nice circle around. And then that's our kind of guideline. We're covering everything apart from inside those circles. Does smell lovely. So right out to the ears. A good thing about a gel mask is they're so easy to remove as well, if there's anything left on there that hasn't absorbed in. And then with my little bit that's left there, I'm going to then apply to my neck. So with the skin on your neck, the same as the skin around your eyes, it's very thin, so you never want to overload it with a really thick and heavy cream. It's very thin, so it doesn't need lots on it. Pinch a little bit of that. So all the way up. And again, if you have any left, which I do a little bit, just take it down onto your chest as well. Okay, so depending on how much time you have, you can leave this particular mask on for as long as you want. So you can go and have a lie down on the bed, you can go and read a book, you can go catch up with the ironing. I wouldn't recommend that one. But yeah, have a nice chill out. Okay, so I'm back from my cup of tea. I've had my little break now. My gel mask has absorbed in really, really well, which proves to me that, yeah, it's gone quite sticky. Proves to me that my skin really, really needed this treatment, and it's kind of absorbed in most of the product. So it might just feel a little bit sticky now. You do need to remove that sticky layer, okay, that sticky residue, so that we can then progress with the final stages of the facial. So I've renewed my little bowl of water. I got some nice warm water. I'm going to use my facial sponges again. So same process, submerge those in the water, squeeze them off so we don't get any drips. And exactly the same process. Yeah, I really haven't got much to remove at all. Lovely. Okay, now you really don't need to apply a toner at this stage, but like I said, I love a good tone, so why not? Always like the coldness of a toner. Go, and that's your mask removed. So next up we're going to apply the Radiant Eye Cream. So your skin around your eye is very, very, very thin, like I said, so we never ever want to overpower it with a heavy product. If you haven't got any eye creams at home, you can use, and you have to use something you've already got. Don't use a heavy cream, try to opt for a lotion, okay? A lotion or a gel would be more well suited to the eye area rather than a big, heavy, thick, kind of luxurious cream. That's just going to weigh it down, and it's going to give you puffiness and irritation as well. So teeny little amount of your eye cream. So as a rough guideline, you need the size of 1 grain of rice per eye, so a teeny tiny little bit. So just warm that up between your index finger and your middle finger. And what we're going to do is we're just going to very, very gently tap this product out around the eye area. So what this is doing, as well as applying the cream, is also stimulating the area. So if you have got any puffiness, it's just kind of helping that lymphatic system do its job a little bit easier, or to wake it up if it's been a bit sluggish. Now if you want a lighter pressure to go around the eye area, if you've got quite a sensitive eye, you can use your ring fingers. So your ring finger, if you press on your hand, it's got a lot less power than your index finger. Your pointing finger is quite strong, whereas your ring finger, it's really hard to press hard with it. So that's quite a nice finger to go on with to do some circles. So circles around the eye are very good for draining and relaxation. So you can reverse the circles and go both ways, and then stop at the temples. Okay, so we're on to the last stage of our facial now. So this is moisturising, so always finish off with a moisturiser at the end of your facial. If you were doing, if this was your morning routine, I'd always recommend to purchase a moisturiser with an SPF in there. Even if it's quite dark outside or gloomy and it's raining, you can still get kind of UV damage from the environment. So always go for an SPF wherever possible. Even if it's in your foundation, just try to make sure you've got one on there. So the one that I've selected for you is Daily Defense Facial Moisturiser. This is from Buddha Beauty, and it's got coenzyme Q10. Now Q10 is really good for regeneration and repair as well. So it's good for everyone. It's good for wrinkles, spots, blemishes, any impurity. This is going to help with repairing and regeneration of that area. So lots of people, their moisturiser, they just tend to put it in their hands, warm their hands up, chuck it on and off they go. That's absolutely fine if you're in a rush. But if you're kind of trying to jump on the self-care bus a little bit and look after yourself a little bit more, if you're feeling a bit stressed, a bit anxious, you know, it's a bit of a strange time out there at the moment, just take a little bit longer, maybe take 2 to 3 minutes putting your moisturiser on, and follow these steps that I'm about to show you. It might make you feel a little bit more relaxed. So I'm actually going to take about 2.5 pumps, this is. Obviously yours will be coming from a pot with a spatula. You can always go back in and use a little bit more if you want to. Because I'm going to be showing you a slightly longer moisturising routine, you may need to top up. It depends on how thirsty your skin is. So warm your product up in your fingertips. And dab out over the face and the neck. Okay, and then we're just going to kind of use lifting, smoothing movements just to spread the product around nice and evenly. And go over the lips as well. Okay, when you're happy that that product is spread around nicely, you can then go into some eye circles. And again, you can experiment with your fingers as to which pressure you prefer. So the index finger is a bit stronger. The middle finger is a little bit softer. And then the ring finger, which is fantastic for sensitive eyes, is even softer again. Now obviously the slower you go with these circles, the more relaxing it is. And you can do as many as you want, as many as you feel that you need. This is a really nice technique for when you've got headaches, just to kind of relax those muscles. Stop yourself from frowning if you're a frowner, stressed. Another nice movement for the eyes as well, if you've got puffiness, is to kind of just press and pull gently all the way out to your temples. Now in your temples, you've got little lymph nodes there, which you can think of a little bit like a sieve or a filter. So they take away any toxins, any excess fluid, which would cause puffiness to the eye. Take that to the little sieve and it filters it out and it gets taken away by your lymphatic system. Okay, so if you've got puffiness along here, by doing these very kind of gentle movements, pulling across right up to the temples, you're just helping that process along, draining. What you don't want to do though is to start draining and stop by here, okay? We need to take that excess fluid all the way to the temple, okay? All the way to the temple, okay? Another thing we can do is a nice eye lift. Again, if you've got a headache, this one is really nice to ease that muscle. So on your forehead, you've got a big sheet of muscle and it's called your frontalis. And when you're stressed, you tend to kind of screw this muscle up and you hold a lot of tension there. So by going across it and kind of draining it up, you're smoothing it out and encouraging it to relax. It really does feel nice. Again, go right back to the hairline. You can do that as many times as you like. So the next movement I like to do is all over the face. Again, this is a draining movement. And this is one that I was taught in London when I went on my Clarins training a long time ago, but it's one of my favourite moves. So I incorporate this into my massage, into my cleanse, and into my moisturise. Whenever I can, I do it because it feels lovely. So what you're doing is you're kind of open and closing a book on your face, or some people call it the wave. So what we're doing is we're popping our little fingers in and then waving out across the face. Now I know this looks a little bit funny, but it feels lovely. If I turn to the side so you can see. So full contact and just gradually moving out across the face. Honestly, it feels lovely. And you want to be going back, all the way back past your ears, and then move down. So if you do about 8 waves across the face. So this is draining excess fluid. It's releasing kind of tense muscles. And then the last lines are moving down. All the way back to the ears. It actually feels really nice on the ear area. Quite a nice move to do if you've ever quite congested as well. If you've got a bit of a cold, a bit of a head cold and you feel heavy there, those movements will help to release that build up. So lastly, to finish up your moisturiser, I wanted to show you some acupressure movements. So again, if you're feeling quite congested, feeling a bit stressed, if you just feel like you're kind of holding your mouth and your face quite tight, if you've been anxious or angry, annoyed, these will help to kind of relax that. So the first movement is you're going to use your knuckles, okay, and you're putting these knuckles underneath your cheekbone, so next to your nose, under the cheekbone. So I'm applying quite a bit of pressure to squish them, and I'm going to hold there for 5 seconds. It's almost like a comfortable, nice pain, and then just move over a tiny bit and exactly the same again. Five seconds, and then out again. So under your cheekbone, using your knuckles, and push and lift. It feels quite sore there, but nice. So I tend to do that twice. And then we're going to do the same across the jawline. So with this one, I'm going to put my thumbs under my chin, curl my fingers over, and I'm just kind of squishing it, giving it a little squeeze for 5 seconds. Don't forget to breathe and move them out. Don't be scared to give it quite a good squeeze, because you get the most release from it. And then lastly, underneath the ears in there. And that does feel quite tender, but once you release, it feels lovely. Fab. So you can do those movements as many times as you like. I tend to do all of it twice if I've got time, but in the mornings, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's literally slap it on and run job. But if you can kind of carve yourself out an hour of the day, I definitely recommend doing those little extra bits and really relaxing during your mask as well, so make the most of it. So I wanted to finish off with a little bit of aftercare advice, things that you can be doing that's going to help your skin condition. So I'd always recommend that you cleanse morning and night. Even if you don't wear a makeup, you're still kind of going out into the environment, whether or not you're cleaning with chemicals, you're out in the garden, you're going to work in an office, always clean up your skin afterwards. Doesn't have to be a cleanser. It could be a nice facial wash if you like the feel of water in the morning. That's absolutely fine. Definitely exfoliate your skin once to twice a week. Just once a week if you're sensitive. Because what that's going to do is going to remove all of the debris so that the products that you're then applying can absorb nice and deep, and you can get maximum benefits from them and not waste your products. Definitely wear an SPF every single day. So SPF is not just the protection from the sun, it's also protect from UV lights that come through when it's cloudy, also from pollution as well. So always wear those all year round. And then lastly, the two that we all know, but we kind of tend to skip because we're too busy or we've got too much on. So plenty of water, 2 litres a day is the recommended. I need to remember that as well. I do try though. I pour myself a glass and then I tend to forget about it, but I am trying to make more of an effort. And the last one is plenty of sleep as well. So obviously your body's repairing during sleep. It goes through certain cycles. It cleans all of your cells, and it kind of helps to regenerate and do everything it needs to do. So if you're not getting enough sleep, your cells are not regenerating, your systems are not working as efficiently as they need to because they haven't had that shutdown time to have basically a good clean around. Okay, so really try to get your sleep. Try to look after yourself, and thank you so much for buying this product, this treatment. I've really enjoyed doing it. I'm really missing my hands-on contact with clients and conversations, so this has given me an opportunity to reach out really and connect again. So thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.